Welcome to Joint Effort PAs, where two orthopedic surgery PAs get real about life in medicine. From tips and tricks to professional growth, work-life balance, and everything in between. We're here to share what we've learned and what we're still figuring out. Let's get into it. We are back.
Right, good morning to Hannah.
Yeah, because for some of us, I don't know if it's morning. I actually am very unaware, like what time it is or what day it is and what year we're in.
So coming off of what are you on now? 36 hours, 48?
Of no sleep. Mm-hmm. And so I slept for, I think, 7 hours, I don't know when. I've been awake up for approximately 28 hours now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's great.
So I feel like, again, just interacting with you, I feel like you are still riding the high pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. My hands are a little shaky, but
no, that's okay. That's expected. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for pulling yourself together.
Yeah,
for today.
I will always pull myself together for the fans.
So do you want to do you want to share why
yes.
you're in this state?
Yes, I'm in this state because I took it wasn't too spontaneous, planned it a couple of weeks ago, trip to Vegas to go see the Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
Live out all my Y2K dreams. And if anybody has gone, I'm sure they know how amazing it was, and they're there for one more weekend. So like if you also decide to be as spontaneous as I was, you should. It's worth it. Totally worth it. So Friday, I had shut down my clinic, left at 5 a.m., took a flight out to Vegas, got to Vegas at 9 a.m. their time, spent the entire day there, went to the concert, spent the night in Vegas, the whole next day there, 10 o'clock, took a red eye back, and then I just got here at 5 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds
amazing.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good weekend.
It was.
Like time well spent, basically.
Yeah. And Vegas, like I tell people this all the time, it is a 36 to 48 hour max trip. Like you can really not spend much more time there.
Do you think like the winter weather here just made that last minute trip like a little bit more...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a little bit less like,
yeah, like, do I do it? Yeah, because I mean, I was in a t-shirt walking around comfortably all day yesterday. Like I could have been in shorts probably and still been comfortable.
Oh my God.
It was like low 70s and at night a little bit chillier, but it was so nice. And then when I got off the plane this morning, I was like, holy shit. It's cold.
No, it's like in the teens, at least this morning it was. So that's
awful.
It's not what we signed up for, but here we are.
Yeah. So that was definitely the highlight of my week. I mean, the week leading up to it wasn't bad per se, but like, I'm not sure
but when
we did a couple total shoulders. Yeah. And so like, love that. But seeing the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, I mean, we'd have to do like 10 total shoulders in a day to make that.
No, I know, but there will be more total shoulders.
Yes.
We don't know if there'll be more Backstreet
Boys. Well, only one more weekend.
Okay, but not for you.
Not for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe.
Never say never.
Well, that's good.
How was your week?
Week was good. Yeah, we had a lot of we had a little weather stuff again this week. Oh, yeah. So volume was like week. Yeah, volume was kind of low Monday, but right back into it Tuesday. Nothing crazy in clinic. Nothing really crazy in the OR.
But outside of the OR, just outside the door of the OR.
Yeah, outside of the door of the OR, we had one of our, I guess, coworkers who works at the hospital had injured himself. And it was one of those things where it's like happening and people are asking for your help. And I guess I didn't realize like how immediate it was.
Like the acuity,
Anyway, long story short, so one of our patient care technicians who works with us at the hospital, he fell. And the surgeon that I work with and I were in the OR, and then a nurse comes in and she was like, hey, so-and-so hurt himself. Can you look at it? Like, was very hesitant, like ask. And the doc's like, like
when I'm done.
Yeah. So then they kind of walk away, and then she comes back in with like two other people. Hey, I know you're operating, but I really need you to look at him. And we were like, I mean, I didn't say like, can this not wait? But part of me was like, this is weird. Yeah. Then they went out and they came back in. They're like, hey, like, how about we have someone scrub for your PA? Like, we just really need someone to look at it. So I was like, okay. I'm like moderately annoyed, but I was kind of like, all right, this seems odd enough that they would ask. Leave the OR, go up around the corner, and there was a lot. There's a lot going on. So
you showed me the X-rays.
The X-rays
are
crazy. So this guy unfortunately really hurt himself and required surgery. Now I couldn't do anything in the moment, just we're on the same page. But I thought what had happened, which made me feel like clinically good about myself, but didn't feel good about anything else.
Yeah. Like you're like,
But I think
knew it was going on.
I know.
Sucks for you though.
I know,
yeah.
but they had wanted like immediate fix right there and then.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. But I like literally left the room expecting this guy to be sitting in a chair. Like, hey, I hurt my knee like 3 weeks ago. And I would have been annoyed, but it was not that. It was
that's the typical, like, oh, will you like look at my finger, you know?
Yeah, it's
been
bothering me for 6 months.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no,
Like, will you give me an injection?
This was different. This guy was admitted and had surgery 2 days later. So that was unexpected.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was a little high acuity insert in your week.
Yeah, that was crazy. But no, clinic good, OR good. I ran a North Carolina favorite this weekend. It was a Krispy Kreme challenge run, which is a 5-mile run, 2.5 miles to Krispy Kreme, eat a dozen donuts, and then run 2.5 miles back. So my 14-year-old son and I decided to do that. He was all in it for the donuts. I was in it for completion. And
did you get a medal?
It did not get. I got a T-shirt.
Oh, I was like hoping there's a medal with a donut on it.
I did finish 6th. In my age group.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. But interestingly, there's 5,000 plus and like just over 1,500 were females. Because that's not something females tend to want to do.
Yeah, because when you read like, oh, okay, like go eat a dozen donuts. But you don't have to. Well, do you have to eat a dozen to like qualify?
3 categories. So the challenger category is, and the whole challenge is you have to eat 12 donuts and do the race under an hour.
Okay.
So that was in that division. People who wanted to sign up to be eligible for that. Then there was the casual runner who didn't want to abide by the number of donuts or the time restriction. I was in that category.
Yeah.
I did not commit to 12 donuts. And then there was the no donut category, which let's be honest, why?
Like that's just a race.
It's just a race, yeah. So it was cold. There was a wind chill. So the wind was like literally blowing sideways.
Yeah.
And I ate 3 donuts, which I thought was respectable.
Yeah, it is.
My son ate 5. And then he ran back. He ate 1 when he was running back. And then we got to the car. Hold on. So that was 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 3 when we were in the car. And by the time we got home, there was only 1 left.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Krispy Kreme donuts are kind of like, now I know these ones aren't like hot and warm and
not hot and warm,
but typically they're easy to eat.
So the strategy, which I saw a lot of, was stack them, put water on them, and smush them into a giant sandwich.
It's not as delicious.
It looked disgusting.
Yeah.
It looked disgusting, but that seemed to be popular.
I would want to do the run and then have the donuts as a reward afterwards.
So it's funny. So right after the halfway point, so you run down, eat the donuts, and then you run back. Right around the corner from from Krispy Kreme, there was a house that had platters full of bacon.
Oh,
so like after you ate the donut, you could wash it down with some bacon, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot of vomiting. We did see vomiting. I did run around piles of vomit.
Yeah.
But we weren't doing
it.
No, we weren't doing it for that. We're doing it for the spectacle. And then my son wanted to see how many he could do. He said he would do 5 or 6. So everyone was very proud of him.
He completed that goal.
And he felt absolutely fine today.
Yeah.
Fine today. And for the rest of the day yesterday, I was like,
yeah.
I didn't feel the best, but I didn't feel terrible.
Yeah. Oh, one of our medical assistants did it as well. I think one of
ours did it too. Yeah.
So it's like a big thing here, which very North Carolina of us to structure a race around eating something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it was, I think it's either 18 or 20 something years into it, but it was founded by 3 NC State students to raise money. So the whole thing is run, like the tents, the starting line, all of that is run by NC State students to raise money for UNC children. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That is neat.
But one and done. Like I'm good.
Yeah, you did it for like the experience. Like, I've run the Krispy Kreme challenge.
So my sister lived in DC. She's not anymore, but she was like, I just called her and I told her, and she was like, oh, that reminds me when I did the Cupid Undie Run. The Cupid Undie Run.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, is January 1st to February 14th. It's 6 weeks, and you're supposed to, no alcohol, everything like that, and then you run in your underwear in downtown DC.
Oh, I didn't know there was like a challenge leading up to it where you could. I was unaware. I was only aware of the running in your underwear part.
Yeah. So she ran as a troll, like old school.
Oh my god,
neon,
like nude,
so neon neon underwear, and then a jewel in her belly, and then like the troll, like not the movie trolls, but like the old school trolls. So that was cool.
That's
and
hilarious.
She also was like, this reminds me of the beer run where you have to chug a beer run. And that sounds very doable.
So there's the NC Beer Mile. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I don't know if I could complete it, but like, what, I have to look it up real quick. There's multiple facets to that one as well, like as far as what you can.
Yeah, but would you rather chug a beer and then run, or eat 12 donuts?
I don't know. I mean, chug a beer, I guess.
Chug a beer.
Yeah, like at least there's some hydration in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I could eat the 12 donuts in general. No. Okay, but 4 beers in 1 mile. Like that's aggressive. A lot. Like I'm drunk thinking about it.
Yeah, no, that's aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah. So you drink 1 12-ounce beer, run a quarter mile, and you do that. Yeah. Yeah. Like, and then, so if you're somebody that like is into running and doing this for the competition, like a quarter mile, you're going fast, like you're sprinting.
Yeah.
After chugging a beer. Yeah. By the third one, like I can't.
Yeah. No, I think though, like, again, you run. So you have to sign up for races that are challenging, and running a race, like, I don't know, running a 5K, been there, done that. I like to do destination ones. I like to do longer than a 5K, a trail run. So stuff that makes it interesting. So donuts, been there, done that. Moving on.
They also have the baby beer mile, which is like a much more palatable amount. I don't know what it is, but you don't have to drink as much. Yeah, it's not 4. It's like, maybe it's like 4 little sampler ones that you have. And I'm like, I can do that.
Again, nuance. If it's a craft beer versus not, that really matters.
Yeah.
So
like I need it to be like a Bud Light,
a light situation. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. But yeah, so we had fun weeks.
Yeah, it was a good week.
Overall.
I felt good about it.
So getting off of the good week, I think, well, this isn't a bad topic, but this is like, we're going to touch on like some frustrations. So, you know, PAs are a very valuable asset to the healthcare team in any specialty. And of course we think that, because why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we think that?
Especially in orthopedics. And there's a lot of data that we looked up to support how PAs are beneficial in the orthopedic specialty, in clinic, in the OR, and just how they can like help things be more efficient and reduce workload for doctors and surgeons.
Yeah. And I think we originally wanted to, which again, on paper sounds like a great idea. Yeah. We're like, let's pull up, journal article review. Let's talk about how useful PAs are.
And
we did that. And it's like, I don't want to say it's common knowledge, but nothing was profound.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, well, we already know that. And it's pretty obvious, but like, then that gets you thinking to like, well, what are the things that like, yes, we know that. What are the challenges we face with that and because of it?
So, so let's just talk about, to start, right? Let's just go through what we learned from those articles. And again, this is not anything, I think, like mind-blowing, but it's worth discussing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
So, various sources, and again, I can list them or not, but talk about how PAs are used in the OR. Now, PAs, and not only in the OR, but also in clinic, increase clinic throughput and OR efficiency. Okay. And we looked at articles comparing residents to PAs, and believe it or not, PAs versus residents, PAs will see more and the OR time is less. So any comments on that? I
mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just like, well, residents are constantly cycling through, right? That's a different goal in mind. They're not the permanent structured person there. So as far as like increasing efficiency in the OR, if you know your team and you know your workflow and you've done things this, for 5 years, you're going to be more efficient at it than someone constantly new cycling through who's learning those things.
Yeah. So surgeons will, with the when they work with an APP, they will see more patients, obviously, and the data shows anywhere from 40% to like 150%.
Yeah.
And they'll do more cases because the PAs will find cases for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So again, this is not news. And we were reading through this and we're like, Also, length of stay, complications, readmissions do not worsen, which is stupid that this is even a variable. But they don't
why
worsen.
Would you think they worsen? Because
like the headline is like, guess what? It's not worse.
Guess what? You don't make their lives worse. Yeah. So thanks.
Right, but it does short. It said like by 0.33%, APP involvement will shorten length of stay and complications.
Yeah.
Patients will often report improved satisfaction with the APP visit as opposed to the surgeon. And again, this is not undermining surgeons at all. It's just that in a surgical practice, the surgeon is not seeing the post-op patients.
Yes.
On a high level, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, a high volume. So
yeah. Like mine still will see post-op patients, but you're also seeing the vast majority of those. And so, like, I mean, that just goes with the fact that you're the one talking to them.
So lastly, again, surgeons will perceive APPs as reducing their workload and improving continuity. And again, no brainer. That's not profound, right?
I mean, live that every day.
We're not here to not do that. Yeah. And if you don't have that outcome, it's a problem.
Okay.
So summarizing that, APPs are trusted with outcomes for the surgeon, for patients, for the practice, but we're going to get into certain things that can be frustrating and certain things that can develop that lead to burnout and ultimately leaving the job. And again, this is relevant because I manage PAs. I have had some PAs recently put in their notice, and it always makes me wonder, like, what is it?
Yeah. Like
and and again, you ask the provider and they're like, well, there's like other things or like the pay.
Yeah.
But that's not always it.
Yeah. So I pulled some data from like a little under 10 years ago for like reasons why PAs choose orthopedics as a specialty. Some of the biggest things were the diversity of cases, autonomy, that you get the combination of OR and clinic. So you get a split in many settings. You'll get that. Personal reasons, being mechanically inclined, good fit, natural fit for their background, whatever it is. And then it went into what people's favorite aspects of their job were and the worst aspects of their job and what could lead to burnout for them, which is interesting because it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. So PAs in orthopedics reported that what they liked best about their job was, most importantly, the patient care and outcomes. And the second most important thing was assisting in surgery, performing clinical procedures, and then following that, the autonomy. At the very bottom of the list was personal benefits, hours, pay, work-life balance, and flexibility. So I resonate with that because 100%. That to me, I don't like, if I have these two, like if I have patient care and good outcomes and get to assist in surgery, performing procedures, like that variety that I'm looking for, my hours, pay, and work-life balance, this was literally the difference between 41 and 17% and 6% level of importance. And I agree with that it's maybe 2% level of importance to me.
And also looked at 84% of APPs are happy staying in their role. And again, we can talk about like how long APPs stay in their first role, specifically orthopedics, and the average is 3 years. But when you get to a place where you like it, 85% of providers are staying there. So it doesn't make sense that like pay would be the reason, right?
Yeah.
So we really wanted to unearth like the why. And it's kind of hard to find in the literature, but it's not that hard. So the paradox here is that APPs are trusted with outcomes. And again, I will never put an APP on the same level as a surgeon because I don't have the same amount of training.
Yeah.
I did not yet dedicate the same amount of years of my life to being a master at that.
Yeah.
And also the responsibility they hold. Right? It's just greater.
Less,
But I think for APPs to handle the daily day-to-day stuff, I think there's a tremendous amount of trust that the surgeon has to put in that person to not only let the reins go a little bit, but also trust their decisions, trust that they're being represented to the best that they want to be.
Yeah.
So why then are we not given authority to do certain things?
Yeah.
It is just, it leads to, I think, a tremendous amount of frustration. And for example, and again, this is not necessarily personal about myself, but just like the world we live in.
Yeah.
I have many APPs that work in Injury Express, and they continue to, we touched on this last week because I had that meeting last week, verbalize like how, they feel like they don't have enough support. They feel like at certain times of the day, there's, they don't have the accessory staff that they need. Mm-hmm. So when they say those things, it's almost like it's not taken for full truth. It's like taking with a grain of salt. Like, we'll trust you to reduce that fracture.
Yeah.
But I don't trust you when you come to me and say how you need more help.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like, I don't trust that you see, like, the problems you see are real problems and like to fix them kind of thing.
Yeah. So again, outcome-based trust is not equal to decision-based trust. So you will trust me to execute a care plan, manage your post-op complications when they come into urgent care and their dressing is whatever, field patient complaints, and keep the surgeon on schedule. But I'm not trusted to direct my ancillary staff.
Right.
Necessarily.
Or like say, hey, I don't think this system works really well for us. We need to change X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, you not directly. You don't know what you're talking about, but it's blind eyes to that.
Or operationally, we need to look at it more so than you're looking at it for you, which again, I'm not going to pretend that I live very deeply in the admin world, but I think what we're saying is there's this constant tension between clinical flow, what needs to get done, and then roadblocks that you hit above that. And it can't, you can't help but feel undermined necessarily. It's just it's weird. Again, this is a very one-sided conversation, right? If I were to sit here with someone who works in our admin who would sit across from me, they would chime in with all the reasons why not, which again, I'm not saying
in every situation is it's all very situational.
Yeah.
So like I'm not saying that like, okay, everything I say should go because, you trust me to do this. So like, why can't the urgent care, system work this way? You should just go with what I say. Right. Like, no, there has to be a conversation about it, but like that open door of like, let me receive that.
But even is important. One step further, I will have these conversations sometime. And again, it hasn't happened recently, knock on wood, it probably means it's going to, where I will have these conversations with my supervising physician where I'll express my concerns. And then his voice will then say the thing that I said, and then it gets adopted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
like, wait, what?
Yeah. But again, I think the whole what we're talking about is the fact that it's a weird world in the mid-level.
But I will say, like, in those instances, right, at least it's happening. Like, your voice is getting heard through somebody.
But if I want him in the Wizard of Oz, I don't want you behind the screen. Like, no,
he's the Wizard of Oz. He is the Wizard of Oz behind the screen, and you're Dorothy.
I am Dorothy. I am. But it makes me feel like a marionette, right? Like that's what
the Tin Man.
I don't know. No heart. I don't have heart.
No heart. Yeah.
But anyway, so I've had micro scenarios of various things like this week. For instance, I have one APP who is super frustrated with the way things were going in the OR with the nurses, the scrub tech. So like the APP happens to work on a surgical team. On the surgical team, he is in charge of signing patients up for surgery, trusted fully with their preoperative and postoperative care, when they need to have an x-ray, when they need to come in after hours. Like those are important decisions that nobody questions.
Yeah.
Yet go in the world of the OR. Now in the OR, there is a hierarchy of people who are in charge. Okay. And that sometimes is a little undermines the PA's authority in that situation.
It's challenged or something.
For example, if you go into the OR, you have the circulating nurse and you have the scrub tech. And let's say the APP comes in and says, hey, we need to use a pre-scrub. And the room will say, well, the surgeon didn't say so.
Yeah.
And the APP is like, well, I know, but the surgeon doesn't have to worry about that because I handle that. Well, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So then you're met with this like authoritative decision where the APP is like, but I work with this guy every day.
Yeah.
But the OR is protocol. So they're not going to deviate from protocol unless the surgeon tells them that. Yeah. And I met with this APP this week and he was just like, I don't understand. Like, why do I have to like, I can't say this on the air, but he feels like he has to like Anyway, he feels like he has to swing it around in order to get some respect.
Yeah.
Which I completely understand, but it shouldn't take that. It should just be face value.
Yeah, it should be face value, but I think this comes from, again, an embedded level of trust thing. And I get that because I also don't want to pretend or have the mindset that I'm going to walk in a room and you should automatically respect me for XYZ title. I don't want to operate that way.
No way.
No, everybody is on a level playing field, and the way that you make things happen and get to that point where you are trusted with hey, we're doing this instead of this.
Yeah.
It's by being nice and respectful to everybody and just repetitively over years and years showing them that you know what's going on.
It's your track record.
Yeah, it's your record.
Yeah, it's you having made all those decisions correctly in the past. Or someone will say, no, I trust me. Trust him on this one. He's right.
Yeah. So, and then, they see you being right now, if you, every time they ask you oh, where should I position the C arm? And, then your doc decides to stand somewhere else every time. And then
they do it this way 99.9% of the time, except time.
But no, I mean, as a general rule of thumb, it's all about respect and trust built over time. So I think you're going to, what is the saying? You're going to attract more flies with honey than vinegar. I don't know.
No, that was very good.
Yes.
You muddled through that, but that was accurate.
Yeah. Attract more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Yes.
So, it's not just about being nice, but showing respect to everybody and just showing that you know what you're doing. Over time, you will gain that level of respect. So I get where they're coming from, because that can be frustrating coming into a new setting. So I feel that and I'm sure you do too, if you go to a new hospital, a different setting than you're used to, where people don't already know you and have that trust
you have
built
to,
in.
and I will back off a little bit. I will kind of be a little bit more observational just to see what these things. For example, this week we had a new scrub tech in our room, and the first case, I kind of saw that I just could see that she didn't know how to do things the way, at least, that we had expected her to. So I decided to help. Okay. So 2 options. One, you let them do it, and then you're like, well, you failed.
Yeah.
So I decided to help a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the second case, trying to fix things from the first case, I was like, hey, how about we do blah, blah, blah. And she literally turned to me and she goes, you can come to my house anytime. Anytime.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we're in a good place.
This is
whereas that could have been handled 100 different ways with a very different outcome.
Yeah.
But
I'll have to off the air tell you about that situation. You probably handled it better than I did this week.
But I guess what I'm saying is APPs in that environment, you have to shift, right? So you're trusted on so many levels here, but then when you go into an environment that is very much based on protocol, you can't come in puffing your chest.
Hot, yeah.
You can't do that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, in an OR setting, if the APP is not backing down, or if they seem to be more aggressive, the surgery tech or the nurse is going to win. It's their house.
Yeah.
So again, it's a paradox. How are you supposed to be trusted to perform things correctly if you're getting pushback in various settings?
Yes.
So again, my advice to that question is read the room.
Read the room. Also, what is your relationship like with your supervising physician? Because to a certain degree, that also has to come from support from them. You're not going to be respected by the staff if they see that the physician doesn't respect you.
Yeah.
And if they do, and they see that you're getting pushback, I would hope they kind of go to bat for you a little bit.
Now, here's another, subset of circumstances. So in clinic, right? And again, we've said you make the decisions, you're trusted to do that, but you can't necessarily move the system. So for example, my team works with, again, my supervising physician. He has medical assistants, and I have a medical assistant. On the surgeon's schedule, he sees shoulders and knees. And on the surgeon's schedule, it says, right arm numbness and tingling, can't move my neck. Okay. So whoever scheduled that saw it said arm and put it on the surgeon's schedule. I know, my medical assistants know that that's the neck. So I will communicate to them, hey, let's move that off the surgeon's schedule. Let's get that patient with the right provider, aka spine team. And no questions asked. If I have a patient that is on my schedule for low back pain and I move it, I'm just trying to not work hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Why are you so lazy?
Or why are you so lazy? Or if it's not suitable, I'm trying to get out of doing that work. And again, I'm not speaking personally, because personally, I'd probably see the low back patient. It would just depend on like
the day and how things are. Yeah. There's a lot of factors that go into that.
So it's this kind of a weird situation we live in. So how do you handle those? Do you have to like fall on the sword because you're the APP?
I mean, yes. Everybody does a little bit.
Or if on your surgeon schedule is someone who is a fourth opinion for something and they're
maybe I'll just start things out and I can't remember the term that I wish I did though, that your doc used to describe this, and it had to do with, it was like some fighting scenario, right? Like that if you go in and wear them out for a little bit before the finisher comes in to like knock them out, that like that's your help in your in that situation. So yes, being like the catch-all person of, this wasn't appropriate for their schedule, but I'll see it.
But if you are so reliable to do that, then how come when you send an email to try to change, hey, we should start earlier, we should end later? Why is that? Why does that need why does that need surgeon approval? Like, why do those things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't have a good answer for that. I would not try to pretend that I'm like an administrator, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know everything that goes into it. I like to think I know a little bit, especially when you've been in a certain setting for a long period of time, like you understand certain nuances. And also I think working in private practice, you have a little bit more of a business mindset. Like I have, and that is one of my favorite parts of my job, getting to have more of that business mindset about things and not just being like somebody who works for a hospital system who rinse and repeat. Like, here is your schedule. You're going to show up at 8 every day and you go home at 8 and you work these 3 days a week. Yeah. And this is what you do. And you don't say anything. Like,
like it doesn't matter what's done. It doesn't matter what you were upset about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like that aspect of being in a smaller setting, but I won't pretend to say that I like know everything that goes into large decision making. However, I think that same like paradox exists from a management not understanding clinical implications. And that is a universal thing. Like if you talk to anybody in healthcare, they are frustrated with management and administration in some way, shape, or form. It's just the two do not communicate.
But do you think that there's a world where APPs specifically, and again, in our practice, we have board members and then we have
like leadership,
right? So do you feel like there's anything different elsewhere? Like, do you think there's any world where APPs have that voice?
I mean, I would think so, because there's APP programs out there, or PA programs that also have a dual MBA. Yeah. So, I mean, clearly people are trying to set themselves up for these types of roles. And again, consider yourself one of them.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm on the leadership manager team, because I continue to want to ask these questions. So one of my biggest frustrations is where I bring something up that to me is like, it's every day. Like, I want to talk about this issue, and then, we'll talk offline about that. Like that phrase,
like your stuff just
makes me want to punch somebody, because like, as I will say, this is my offline time. Like, I'm online all the time, right? So like my offline time is
right now. So in 2 minutes,
but I feel like breaking down those barriers into admin world is really, really important, because as we'll get into, feeling operationally responsible for things but strategically excluded can contribute to burnout. And I don't think PAs know how to communicate that. Yeah. But if I were to go back and ask the last 5 PAs that left, and I said, hey, if is this what you're thinking? I think they'd be like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So going off of that, the same article that I was looking at looked at the worst aspects of the job. So this is what PAs reported as being their least favorite part. So what I imagine contributed most to their burnout or leaving. The highest thing was workload, hours, and call, which is interesting because they said their what you like best about the job, it was very low importance for work-life balance and hours. They didn't really care about that.
Well, but to be fair,
cared about
but to be fair, you don't care about it until you care about it. It's that whole like standing next to the cliff, but not going over the cliff.
So here is where I take this into account. Like, going into it, if everything's like if I'm getting the respect, right, and like things are going well, I don't care about that. Pile it up. I will work 90 hours a week happily. I was sending emails at 3:00 in the morning. No, I was at the airport. Fair, whatever. But when the other stuff and frustrations start to build up, this then becomes an issue for you. You're like, why am I working 80 hours a week? Because what is it doing? So that was top. The second was lack of autonomy and constraints. And this is what we're talking about. Constraints of the system, whatever. Lack of respect for the PA profession. I mean,
I think that's very outdated.
Yeah. And I mean, this is almost 10 years old.
The next topic again is the productivity, right? So in our world, in order to be on a successful team or to be successful in orthopedics, you have to be productive. Your volume has got to be high. We are not seeing level 5 complicated cases that are 3rd and 4th and 5th opinion consults that take 30 minutes that we could do 12 a day. That's just not the world we live in. We are living in a world where we need to see high volume and we're not in control of the complexity. So we just have to roll with it. So again, the surgeon in this model, right? The surgeon has medical assistants to help them do that to maximize their efficiency. Your job is to be the catch basin. You have to absorb that extra volume. You have to protect the surgeon's time. You have to absorb all of that. Also, at the same time, not really having the structural authority to say like, hey, so my limitations are like, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So the productivity feels very transactional. It feels like it's just all about numbers. It doesn't at times feel collaborative. So where do you feel like you are on that spectrum? Because I think I live in a very collaborative world.
I do.
Yes. Yeah. So where I'm going with this is that APPs will report feeling burnt out when they are being ignored while working really hard. Now, again, subjective.
It is subjective because everybody's working hard definition is different.
Very different. Yeah. So like you said, I think when you're dissatisfied with certain things, your 25 patients that you see in clinic or injury express can feel easy if you're satisfied, but it can feel ridiculously hard if other things are bothering you about your work-life situation.
Yeah, like you could have the same week, the same volume and the same like, oh, I was an hour behind this day. And if other things are going on or if you don't feel like valued and respected, like that's going to feel 1,000 times worse than if you feel supported and respected and valued. You can power through it a lot easier and you feel like there's purpose behind it. Otherwise, it just feels like, like you're crushing yourself for what?
Yeah. So where do you think then it lies in, our practice or in the private practice model? Like what's the appropriate amount of positive reinforcement that would make you feel valued?
So I think
and who does it need to come from?
I think it has to come from all angles.
I know.
Because the give and take situation. So I don't expect respect for anybody that I'm not actively showing it to. But if I am trying to help you out in this aspect, help you out in this aspect, all around the board, I want kind of the same. Yeah.
Now, when though does it become a situation where your standards are such that you expect everyone to work hard all the time? So why are you going to positively reinforce everybody for mediocre work?
Yeah, I know. That's hard.
It is hard.
You struggle with that.
I do struggle with that. Yeah. But how do you positively reinforce those that already feel like they're working really, really hard and their output is mediocre?
Yeah. There's a threshold, a mismatch of expectations of like what is a high level of work and what is not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some positive reinforcement goes a long way.
I know.
Because,
I do too.
Again, like those, like you said, seeing 20 patients in an urgent care setting, if you are getting positive reinforcement from like the docs that your patients are following up with, or like a text from somebody like, oh, like, thanks for handling this so well, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like you're going to feel good and that's going to carry you throughout the day a little bit more versus if, you feel like you're staying after 8:00 every night and crushing yourself and you're only getting negative feedback and everybody's like mad at you all the time, then that leads to burnout. And like you said here, it's poor teamwork climate can lead to it. I mean, I feel fortunate. I don't feel like that's like necessarily an issue. Role ambiguity. Depending on the day, like
that can be
I'm really struggle with.
Yes, I'm really trying to fix this in Injury Express when the PAs have to wear the hat sometimes when, let's say it's not at our busy site where we don't really have a medical assistant all the time. So now you're doing medical assistant things and then you're answering phone calls and then you're seeing patients. So like when you do have that extra support, you can't turn it off. Like it's really hard to just, so is it my job? Is it your job? You thought it was mine. I thought it was yours. It didn't get done. So I think that unfortunately is very strongly associated with PAs feeling burnt out.
Yeah. Inadequate staffing kind of goes to that. Low perceived respect, again, like if you're only getting negative reinforcement and negative feedback from those above you. So
what is your advice like to new PAs coming into a practice?
Yeah.
How would you advise those that are looking to work, let's say in orthopedics or in a surgical subspecialty where you would tell them you're going to have a ton of work, you're going to have a ton of responsibility, which in itself is rewarding. It should feel challenging, but it should feel rewarding. But be aware of ABC.
Yeah, I think, know what your expectation is for like what the level of work would be going in.
Yeah.
I guess what I mean by that is, are you taking a job where like the busiest, most successful people are seeing 10 patients a day, 20 patients a day, or 35 patients a day? Like those are questions to ask in your interview. What is the standard and threshold? Because some people graduate PA school going in and being like 12 patients a day. Like that's normal. That's who was on my rotations. People saw that. And so they're like, what? This is insane. And
we had Jordan, right? Jordan was on for, she had said her volume is kind of lower.
Yeah. And I mean, primary care. So like different expectation wise, but like know that going in, what are my expectations to be successful? So like, I don't know if we touched on this, but I feel like a great interview question for as the interviewee to ask the interviewer is like, what are the most successful people in this practice? What does their life look like? Or what does their day look like?
Yeah.
What volume are they seeing and what's their schedule like?
Yeah.
Because you want to try to replicate that.
Yeah. Or what type of authority do I have and what type of responsibility do I have? Like I've never been asked that question.
Yeah.
Like you've
and how would you answer it if they did? You'd be like,
I know. Or if they say like, you clearly have outlined my responsibilities, but what's my authority when I need this or I need that?
Yeah.
Like what do I do?
I don't know. It's like so dependent.
I know. Yeah. But that's I mean, that's like the higher level stuff that we're talking about. I think
know what's important to you.
You know what's important to you.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before. This is advice that you've recently given me. Like know your own thresholds.
Yes.
And like just approach it like that. Like if this is what's important to you and this is your breaking point and your threshold, then just know that.
Yeah.
And be honest about it.
But isn't it crazy though that like, I mean, I'm very thankful that being a physician assistant is an option for me. Like I think you have found your role in orthopedics, and it's great. It's rewarding. And we know the facts. We know that we bring value to the practice, but these inner workings, if we don't dissect them, we don't talk about them, I feel like they become like
a little low burning fire.
Or those like deep pimples that you want to pop and you can't.
It just it never comes to the surface.
You just have to wait.
Yeah. But you also, do you want to like let it come to the surface where it's like so bad? Or are you trying to treat it with one of those little micro dart patches that you put on the pimple before?
Yeah. Or you got to exfoliate the shit out of it.
Yeah.
You really got to just take off the layers,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think do that. Like don't let yourself get to the point where you boil over with those things. But I think general advice, I think obviously looking at all the data that we looked at and with like personal thoughts in mind, the burnout situation is high if there's a mismatch of expectations and lack of respect and lack of trust. And I think like, fortunately for me, I don't feel like lack of trust and things like that are an issue.
Yeah.
And so we live in a good world with that.
Yeah.
But nobody is immune to the frustrations of what happens behind the scenes.
Yes. And I am, again, anytime I have a provider that puts in their notice, it makes me go into this reflective mode. It's like looking at all the pictures from the past year and like, oh,
what could I have done different?
Yeah. So I think this is a relevant topic for me because I want to see the things before they happen. I can see now, when the provider starts to be a little dissatisfied. And I see these things coming, and it's not like this is a surprise. I'm seeing it better now. But I want to address it at the conception stage.
Yeah. And recognize it in yourself at those stages too. Don't let it.
If we want teams that last, if we want providers who stay and systems that don't collapse under their own weight, we have to stop mistaking hierarchy for built-in safety within the role. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just because you have a manager and I have a manager does not necessarily mean that you're protected from things that might bother you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think we just
you're
have
my
to,
manager.
I know, but I'm saying, but you have to understand and identify the things that aren't necessarily going to work for you. And we have to talk about it. Yeah. Hannah, let's talk about it.
This is us talking about
We're talking about it.
We talk about it a lot. So good insight. Yeah. Take this and digest it and employ it into your own lives.
Yeah, but I also think recognize when something starts to feel like it's picking at you, and then that's the time to talk about it. Otherwise, it's just a miserable situation for everybody. Yeah. Yeah. And again, we're not, you're not married to your job. If you don't like it, fix it or move on. So,
yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right. Till next time.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Joint Effort PAs. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow PA or med-minded friend. You can also follow us on Instagram at Joint Effort PAs for updates and extra content. See you next time.